And welcome to the M2 podcast. This is the show where we cover your esports and personalities, your gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, and technology and innovation. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co host over here is Mr. J.K. Heath, Kyle Heath. And pretty much what we like to do is cover this week, this news, and everything that's going on in the gaming industry. But before we get into that, Kyle, what have you been up to this last week?
This last week, it's a good
Yes,
question.
sir.
This last week has been a lot of the same stuff. I actually played some Halo this week for a little bit. Surprising.
Oh, wow. You didn't tell me that.
I did not.
Like,
I
what have you
played.
been playing?
It was just ranked, but played a little bit of ranked with the boys.
Oh,
Because
snap.
yeah, there was a couple that I think I told you guys. There was like a buddy of mine that was like he started playing and he was like he was like complaining about some stuff and I was like that's literally like what everyone else is. He's been playing it for
You're
months. He's
not,
been
it's
complaining
like,
about.
yeah, it's like you're not crazy, man.
Yeah,
This
you're
is what
not.
it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I mean, we still had fun, I guess. It was before. I think we played like before reset though, so it's kind of just we were playing at the end of that like season.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I played some of that. Other than that, I was very close to playing. I think it was. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to pull it up just real quick. I'm gonna pull up my Epic Games launcher because there was a new game I wanted to try out, a new battle royale game. Some
Oh,
friends, but we found out that it was only duos was the max you could queue. So there's like no trios or squads. Um,
what game was it? Or, well,
they
that's what you're looking up, right?
so yeah. So the name of the game is called Rumbleverse. I don't know if you've seen like any
Rumbleverse.
footage on it. It's essentially like a battle royale wrestling game. Is the best way
Oh,
to describe it.
that's,
It
this actually
sounds
sounds kind of
it
cool.
sounds sick. We didn't get a chance to play it though, because we didn't. We had too many people, but it looked pretty interesting.
What in the world am I looking at?
It looks
Are
very
you,
interesting, huh?
you should try to show it on the
Yeah,
on the what's it called? On the video.
yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up a quick thing of it, the trailer or something. Um, but
It
yeah,
looks
it's
silly, man.
it's very cool, huh? So
It's
yeah.
very cartoony. It looks kind of
Yeah,
neat.
but I mean, it's essentially like quite literally a wrestling game, but it's like a BR style. So you're like
Is it
eliminating
free to play?
people, and yeah, it's free to play, completely
Oh,
free. So maybe worth checking out. You haven't already, but
I
I didn't have a
I
chance to
will
play
check
it.
out.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it looks looked interesting. So I'll hopefully maybe I'll get around to it one day. But it's just so ridiculous. Like, bro, there's a chicken with a mailbox that just like completely just slammed
Yeah,
something
like
around.
somersaults like 3 times
Right?
off of a car as like a trampoline
I know.
and then
Or
slammed it on top of somebody's head.
that guy just got belly flopped by a clown, by a big fat clown is the best way I can describe that. Oh man. Um
It's
yeah,
pretty cool.
it
I
looks
actually
funny.
I like the way it looks, yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah. Play the I was about to play that until we found out you can only queue duos, but definitely want to get back around to
Yeah.
that at some point. Um I'm trying to think if I played anything else this week. I don't think I did. I'm outside the usual, Smite grind, hashtag Smite grind. Other than that, man, I've I've just been chilling though for the most part. What about you, Mike?
Uh, so for me, I got on Rocket League for a little bit, just kind of like driving around, just flipping around, not doing much with that, not taking it too seriously. I think I only got like 2 or 3 games in, and then I was like, "All right, I'm moving on." Um, a lot of my time has actually been spent either hanging out with my dog, um, trying to get him a little bit trained up, going on like longer walks and stuff like that, and watching a lot of TV shows. So I watched like the new Game of Thrones episode. It's not Game of Thrones. It's House of the Dragon.
Oh
They're
yeah,
calling it Hot D. So House of the Dragon for abbreviations is Hot D. And it was a good episode. I also watched there was another show that I started watching. Oh yeah, did I mention Resident Evil?
yeah, you did. I remember you
Yeah,
mentioned that to
so
me.
yeah, did I mention on the podcast last week?
No, you did not.
Yeah, because I think what happened was is I started watching it over the weekend and I like binged it. I got all the way into like 5 or 6 episodes. And let me tell you something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
no.
no is correct. Okay, let me so for the uninitiated, it's on Netflix. And Resident Evil, if you're listening to this podcast, you should have at least heard Resident Evil once. Like, got to, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
yeah,
like a
they have
legendary
to.
game. So they made a TV adaptation of it, and there are 2 different timelines going on. There's the past, which is 14 years prior to what the setting is of the show, and
Yeah,
it's like you're following the main character and her sister and basically their family in the initial outbreak of what happens. But you're also following, like, present day, and present day is basically 14 years later, 14-year gap, and it's just chaos. It's like Armageddon. It's like it's horrific. But I don't like at the beginning of the first episode or so, I was like, "Ah, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. It's a pilot episode, like, it's Resident Evil. We'll see how they make of it." And then, like, by episode 3, I'm just like, "Man, this," like, I know the critics and, like, the fans were saying it wasn't very good, but I was like, "Maybe they're just being harsh." And I'm like, "I agree with them, man. This is, like,
oh
it's
no,
not
dude.
properly portrayed, like, it
Oh.
could be done better. I'm not caring as much as I think I should." And then I got to episode 5 and I'm like, this is a car crash that I can't look away from." It's like, oh
Oh
man.
man, those are the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah, but here's the thing about me, right? So, like, for people like people that don't know me, I love watching really bad movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of person, like, I get enjoyment out of it. You know how people, like, watch, uh, Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah,
And they made, like, a cult over it, and then they, like, actually unironically love the movie. I'm
yeah.
like that with most horrible movies. You know what I mean? Like, just, like, I watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, maybe it'll grow on me, but right now, I'm not feeling it. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna finish it, don't get me wrong. I'll finish it, I'll give my final verdict. Maybe there's a redemption arc. There's 8 episodes, so I'm 5 in.
Yeah.
But going
Dude,
back to video games that I played, Rocket League, Halo, I've been playing more Halo Infinite again.
nice.
Trying to stay in touch, doing a little bit more of, like, I'm coaching a team, but I'm more a manager, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, not in the like, English football manager, because that's just a coach. I'm more of, like, managing the team and, like, trying to get them organized, like, setting them up for, uh, like, the rest of the season, which isn't much, which is you and I are gonna go to Orlando for.
Yeah.
So, that should be pretty good.
Dude, that's in a month. Isn't that crazy?
I
God,
got
it's
everything paid
wild.
for so far.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Time
same,
off and
man.
everything. So,
Same, bro, same. It's gonna be
very
fun.
excited. Yeah.
Fun.
Oh, one tragic thing. Remember I told you I got Star Wars, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast?
Yeah.
Or Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy?
Mhm.
I've made it about 3 or 4, like, missions in to try to get my character ranked up,
Yeah.
and there's a cutscene where it's completely bugged, and I think I have to build a new game, or, like,
Really?
restart profile. Yeah,
Dude,
like,
that's
it
awful.
will not activate the voice lines to progress the story. So it's just on a never-ending
Oh,
loop.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, so I was a little bit disappointed about that. I was playing that most of this week.
Dude,
So
like, when it comes to games, there's 2 things that, like, actually upset me when I'm playing a game. It's anything that deals with save corruptions or, like, bugs or
yes,
game-breaking things, or if the
yeah,
story is literally a drag and you want to enjoy it, but you just, like,
you can't get
you just
engaged.
can't. Like, dude, those are the
Yeah.
2 worst things in a game for me. Like, if that happens, it's, like, complete mood killer.
Hypothetical situation. Which one would you choose if you had to?
Um Well, I mean, at least if the story's bad, the game's playable and you can still like kind of try and save it. But like, I mean, if the game breaks, you can't play the game, right? So it's like,
Yeah, you got to start over.
yeah, I mean, you have to start over. Which if the story's good, it's like okay, fine, whatever, I'll do it. But like, if it's also if it's just like if there's just like minor bugs though or like funny things, it actually oddly enough
It didn't
doesn't
hit.
pull. Like yeah, for me, it's kind of like the thing with you watch bad movies, right? And you eventually like it. It's like
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny, and I kind of roll with it. Like it's we've talked about it before. It's like an unfortunate reality with a lot of games nowadays. Is they ship
Yes,
with
it
like
is.
bugs like that. But it's like, I mean, you could say like, oh, you shouldn't stand for it or you shouldn't like that. It's just like, I don't know, man. I think it's funny. I kind of just roll with it. If it's not breaking the game, I think it's fun. That's just me.
You know, that actually reminds me. We talked about Cyberpunk recently, and I have a buddy of mine that's like he's a pretty casual gamer. I would say, like he plays like every now and then on his PlayStation. He'll just like grab like God of War or Cyberpunk, whatever's like hits the mainstream of like hype,
Yeah.
he'll grab those and play it. And when he played Cyberpunk, he was like, "Yeah, I beat it probably the first like week or two." And I was like, "How were the bugs? Like, was it unplayable?" And he goes, "I actually thought they were hilarious when they were happening." And he had that
Like,
like same mindset. It was like
dude,
sometimes there's just characters talking to a brick wall,
dude, it's the best
set up
ever.
at you.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Dude, I played the game
Yeah.
when it first came out, and I looked past all of it and actually completed the game. And the
Oh,
story was the story. I
yeah.
wish there was more, but I mean, other than that, it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, what it was.
Yep. Shout out to a previous podcast guest, Gunshot. He had the legendary, not the legendary. It's a collector's edition of Cyberpunk.
Oh,
He
really?
ended up getting one of those for the Xbox Series X,
Yeah.
and he beat it in like the first week or two, and I think he got it early. So with the
Oh,
collector's
really?
edition, they messed up and they shipped him out early. So
Oh, I
he
remember
was
that.
able to
Yeah,
play the game like a week or
dude,
two,
it's
maybe
awesome,
even
dude.
further, like possibly a month early.
Oh,
Like beat it. It's
before
nuts.
that's before day one patch, by the way. That's
Yes.
rough, dude. It's even
Yeah,
worse because you don't have day one.
dude.
That is
Yeah,
bad.
he was telling me there was like he was like, "There's a lot of adult content that's just like laying around the streets, man. It's chaos."
Bro,
Like,
that world is so sick. I just wish
yeah.
I mean this I don't know. The story wasn't like complete trash.
No.
I think with most stuff nowadays there's certainly more to be desired out of a lot of stories, but I mean it's for what it was, Um I still really enjoy that game and I want to go back to it whenever DLC comes around, so it's
Yeah.
really coming
Yeah, that's
soon.
true. Yeah, there are a couple of games that I really want to get back to, but I just haven't had time, and I'm hoping I get time like towards the end of the year when things like start settling down and I can just chill.
Yeah. Dude, Army All, man. Army All.
Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky. Those are the two that I want to get back
Yeah.
at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wanted to there's some yeah, there's been some games that were on my list that I really want to I'm like just going through like Gamescom and stuff like that, just looking at all that stuff. There's a lot of those games that they have DLC coming out or like they have like huge expansions that are dropping before the end of the year and it's like I'm like sitting there looking at it, it's like, I never like finished that game. I really need to like go finish that and then get ready for the DLC. So um but yeah, more details on that, which we'll talk about in the in next week's episode.
Yeah, for pretty much like Gamescom is going on right now. So for the listeners, it started Wednesday, which was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Tuesday was Open Night Live, so Opening Night
Okay, yeah.
Live was Tuesday, yeah. So,
It,
so
it's going to Sunday evening, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah, I think
Sunday or
so.
Saturday. So what we were deciding to do is to basically make a special episode, special in like quotes. We're just going to make it a one concept of covering all of Gamescom
Yeah, yeah. I
because
mean,
there's been so many announcements recently on
right,
there that are definitely worth sitting down and
right.
maybe doing a little bit of React content.
Yeah, there was. I will say this, and like Gamescom, I think most years Gamescom for me anyway was one of those shows where it's like, oh, it's at the end of the summer. There's not really anything crazy to like talk about. But like this year,
Mhm. It's good.
we're gonna. I mean, there's a lot of like good stuff coming out, and there's a lot of stuff I want to. Now that we have like this show and this platform, I really want to take the time to actually like analyze and sit down and say like, okay, here's
Yeah,
everything that we feel is worth noting. So, that's what we're gonna do next week.
yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to sit down, watch everything, take notes, and then you and I like get together and we basically consolidate
Yeah.
and like we're on the same page. We're on the same page, you know. It
Yeah.
should be fun.
So yeah, a little bit of planned content for next week. So keep an eye out for the
Mhm.
Gamescom analysis.
All right. Do you want to? I guess enough jibber jabber, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Oh
give us the rundown of this week?
yeah.
What
Sure. We have
what happened?
some articles to go through. And I will round out the show with my first impressions of Saints Row because that dropped on Tuesday, and I played through the first couple missions. So yeah, a lot to talk about. But
I'm excited.
we're gonna we're gonna start off with the PS5. We got some news this week that came in that the PS5 pricing is going to be increasing in, they say, select markets around the world. It seems to be every region or like majority of regions, like the major regions around the world, are getting a price increase except for US, which is very interesting. This is straight from the PlayStation blog. Um, I'll just read from the top. The first paragraph essentially gets into the reasoning behind this increase. It says the global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We're seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. Based on these challenging economic conditions, SIE has made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price of PlayStation 5 in select markets across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, as well as Latin America, and Canada. It's like 7 regions.
Literally
Um,
everywhere except for the US
yeah,
and Mexico.
yeah. And the last one is there will be no price increase in the United States. Um, so yeah, quick rundown. In Europe, the PS5 with disk drive is going up to 550 euro. Um, the PlayStation Digital Edition is going to be 450. Um, and pretty much, I mean, everywhere it's anywhere from what appears to be like a $50 price increase. Australia, it's their currency is like, oh, their stuff is so much more expensive than ours. It seems like so it's like their PS5, the regular one's going to be 800 Aussie dollars, and then it's going to the digital is 650. Um, and yeah, and there's just they go through kind of all the currencies. In Canada, it's going to be 650 Canadian for the Blu-ray, for the disc drive version, and the digital editions 520 Canadian. So that's just a couple of them. In terms of they of course translate to all currencies. It seems to be effective immediately, with the exception of Japan,
It
which their
is.
price increases won't be effective until September 15th. Um, but yeah, due to the global economic climate, we're starting to see some price increase on the PlayStation console. I didn't include the article here for Xbox's response, but I did read that Xbox is they're very set on keeping the price. They're not going to
Yeah.
increase. They want to keep what they have. So good news if you're an Xbox fan or you're looking to get an Xbox, especially around the world. That's not changing anytime soon, at least from the looks of it. So nice little response there from Xbox. But I mean, Mike, you know, we're starting to see a little bit of the economy creep in, global economy, kind of creep into the gaming space. What do you think about
It's something. Well,
it?
I'm not okay, so let me start off here. I'm not surprised that Xbox isn't changing their prices.
Yeah,
And the main reason for that is like we talked about this several times in the podcast. Xbox and Microsoft, they're past the point of selling hardware. They don't care anymore.
yeah,
I I think they will literally sell Xboxes at a loss now because of
probably, yeah,
what the yeah, it's like because if you can get somebody on an Xbox, that's more opportunity to advertise them to get them on Game Pass, which is ultimately what they want to
yeah,
happen.
yeah, exactly.
So, like, that's all they care about at this point, and it's pretty obvious with all the acquisitions, all the plans to put all these games on it. I don't know what PlayStation is doing, to be honest. Uh, they're raising all the prices by essentially 10% in every country.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
so, yeah, it's like, eh, uh, define what's going on in the global economy where you can raise it 10% everywhere except for the US. I think it has more to do with how, like, I think more people in the US and Japan in particular buy PlayStation.
Yeah,
I don't think really outside of those regions, anybody really cares, you know?
yeah. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I think
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I would say maybe the UK, probably people over in Europe. There's some,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I think so, but
definitely not to the scale of America or Japan, but
right,
yeah,
I do think, in terms of, like, consoles, I don't think that people in Europe, actually care, you know? Like, it never really striked me as a big region that cared about
right,
consoles. A lot of those people just, like, um, are on PC, I think.
yeah.
I don't know, that's just my personal biases coming in, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a fair point. It seems to be, I mean, I think that's kind of the only like logical explanation as to why they would like try to increase everywhere. I mean, I think it's interesting that U.S. isn't included. I'm not an
Yeah.
economist. I'm not I'm not a financial analyst. I have no idea. Um,
Yeah, there could probably be some, like, trade thing going on that we have no idea about,
right? Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it could be a number of things, but I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that the consoles people are gonna have to pay more for them when they're already getting scalped and third party
oh,
resale and all that
I just had a brain blast. It's
revelation.
probably not changing. Yeah, revolution, an epiphany,
There you go.
SAT word. Uh, the United States is the global economy, not global economy, global currency, right?
I think
So
so,
all the other
yeah.
currencies, relatively, I mean, it's based on a lot of different things, and we're not going to get into that. But I think it's mostly based on the U.S. dollar. Don't raise the price of the U.S. dollar. All the other prices during the economic impact of like recessions and like things slowing down and just being overall chaotic worldwide with
Yeah.
wars and stuff. Um, I could see why they would raise the prices then.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's
mean,
like, yeah,
I guess it makes sense.
yeah, like the U.S. dollar, I think now is like worth more than the sterling and the euro.
Yeah, I
So
can't
charge more in their currency,
yeah, I
maybe.
mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no one point it was no, at one point the US dollar was a little bit more than the euro, so I don't know if that's still the
Yeah,
case or if it's leveled out, but
yeah.
yeah.
I to be honest, I have not checked in a while.
Yeah, I haven't
So,
either, so won't speak too much on it, but um rather unfortunate, you know. It's a bit of a price hike around the world, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
um
I hope everybody's getting paid more, 10% more to afford a PlayStation.
I mean, hey, I
That'd be
think it's a good
nice.
excuse, you know.
Yeah.
um
Go up there, hey sir. I need a 10% raise. The cost of the PlayStation is just too high. It's not inflation, it's the PlayStation.
Look, all right, I just want to point this out before we move on to if you look at
Yes.
the so if you look at the actual the ratio of likes to comments on this post on the PlayStation blog, 125 likes to
Oh.
428 comments. I am not scrolling down and reading that because there's probably some mad people in the comments. Um but yeah, there's no author replies either. There's just straight up comments and the comment to like
Uh,
ratio is way off, so
all
oh
right.
man.
I will give I'll tell you the first comment, okay?
Uh-oh.
Um, somebody and it has a lot of replies to it. Very simple. I already have one and I'm still offended by this. And it's Blue Nose Punk, and for people that aren't, like, in the UK, Blue Nose usually means they support somebody that has a blue jersey on.
Mm,
Blue Nose being, like, Everton
yeah,
or
yeah,
Man City, stuff like that, or Chelsea, uh,
yeah.
football clubs, and then somebody replies immediately and goes, "Exactly this. Now everyone who couldn't afford a PS5," and then in parentheses, "let alone find one," end parentheses, "will have an even harder time to get one." And it's like, yeah, yeah, you're probably right. It's
Yeah.
like,
Shake my head, dude, you know? SMH
yeah,
my head, as we say.
that triggers me. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of curse words that are blocked out. Let's not get okay, so the PlayStation fans overseas, our brothers across the pond on both sides and underneath us, I guess, even though it's not a pond, but you know what I mean. Um, sorry. Like, sorry. Get an Xbox, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, Xbox is here for you, you know? We ain't raising prices. And you can actually
Hashtag
find their
Game Pass.
consoles in stock some places, so
That's a fact.
it's a gosh darn fact, man. You know what else you're gonna
Yikes.
be able to find in stock soon?
Oh, oh, I'm
Oh
excited. Hit
shoot,
me with it.
Mike.
Hit me with it.
Guess what is in September?
We've been talking about it too
Been talking about
for
this
a
for a while.
while. Like I think we're like 4 episodes in a row. We at least mentioned it briefly.
Oh man. Ladies
Tell
and
the people.
gentlemen, Nvidia is set to announce the next gen GPU architecture in September amid the RTX 4090 rumors. Um, just a brief, brief over here. Nvidia is getting ready to announce its next GPU architecture, codenamed Lovelace. Ampere is the current GPU architecture that powers Nvidia's RTX 30 series GPUs. After Turing debuted with the first RTX cards in 2018, Nvidia is now expected to detail its Lovelace GPU architecture at GTC 2022 in September, with CEO Jensen Huang hinting at an announce during the company's recent earnings call. He said, "Quote: We'll get through this over the next few months and go into next year with our new architecture. I look forward to telling you about it at GTC next month." A little more detail surrounding this. Of course, I know we mentioned recently that there is, in fact, a overabundance of 30 series cards and
They're gonna do
a
more
serious
cuts.
overstock. Um, it's it's certainly I don't know if it's mentioned this in this article, but I know in the same call, they they openly admitted that yes, we do have an overstock of
Yeah.
30 series cards, so we are definitely going to be trying to sell a lot of those. There's been some predictions saying that those I wouldn't necessarily expect like, oh my gosh, this is insane pricing that like we would never like see ever, but there could potentially be more cuts just to get rid of some cards. I mean, it's without a doubt. So
Yeah, I think saying they're not gonna be insane, I think they're already insane, man. The RTX 3090 series was the 3090 card was going for around $2,000, sometimes more,
oh yeah,
at retail manufacturer price, and they chopped that down to 1,000 or $1,200 in some cases. That's wild. That
that's
basically says,
crazy.
like, "We gotta sell this stuff, like, ASAP."
Yeah,
Um, I think the prices are gonna get I'll tell you right now, if I see a 3090 Ti that's less than $1,000, I might just buy it, man.
I'm.
Like,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
it's a
That's
steal. It's a
crazy.
steal, dude. Um,
So,
I wouldn't blame you
yeah.
one bit, and I think we could seriously. There's potential to see something like that. So definitely keep your eye out. I do want to also mention there was a little more details on it. So the conference is going to be September 19th through the 22nd. The keynote is actually set for the 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. He said, I look forward to next month's GTC conference where we will share new advances of RTX reinventing 3D graphics in gaming, AI's continuing breakthroughs, and building the metaverse, the next evolution of the internet. So I think we'll hear some pretty interesting things at the keynote, to say the least,
Yeah, I think they're gonna start leaning into, crypto a little bit.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I will openly admit I do have a little bit of Nvidia shares, so I'm hoping for a banger. I'm hoping this keynote's gonna pop off.
Well, let me ask you this since you openly admitted, did they start slipping recently? I think I saw that.
Bad. it's
Yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
real bad.
yeah,
Um,
I think what I read was that the earnings report wasn't as big as they thought it would be.
yeah,
I
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, and the whole surplus cards and stuff, and just what's been going
Yeah.
on. There hasn't been much in the department of like good news. I feel like from Nvidia, especially in the past like 6 months. So yeah, it's been a little rough, but here's to hoping for a rebound.
Yeah, I guess from, like, a profit margin, yeah, sure, it's definitely not been good, but from, like, a technology standpoint, the cards are just getting so much better.
Definitely. I
Like,
mean,
crazy good, and every update that I've been getting, like, NVIDIA in the past, like, you would get an update and it would mess up some of your settings and, like,
yeah,
it'd be very noticeable that it was a fresh update, you know what I mean?
right,
Like, you'd
yeah,
have to redo everything, sometimes your games would crash or wouldn't be
mhm,
calibrated properly,
yeah.
but now it's like, everything's seamless for me,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't
so
I've been the same. I don't think I've experienced many issues of like, GPU problems, especially around updates and stuff,
yeah,
which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, Nvidia is definitely on top of that. I think they've optimized the newest like 30 series is at a point where it's definitely the end of the life cycle, so it's like you got
yeah,
most of the optimizations out of the way. It's firing on all cylinders kind of thing. Um and so with the 40 series, I mean, I'll be curious to see. I mean, just from what we've covered recently, I mean, it seems like it's going to be another huge performance boost in this upcoming series. So they somehow do it
yeah,
every time.
that's
Every time, I'm
that's
like,
what they're
oh,
hinting at.
I'm like, dude, like, because I think the 20 series was great, but it was, I think, a little underwhelming. I mean, it was still cool, but like, it wasn't like, oh my god. But
Yeah,
20 series to 30 series was like
huge.
insane, dude. It was a huge
Yeah,
jump that I wasn't expecting. So,
yeah,
um,
you're absolutely right.
yeah, I mean, I think we'll get some of the 40 series, which is exciting. I know most of the cards probably won't launch until early next year, but I mean, dude,
Yeah.
40 series is looking good, man. It's looking real good.
I'm very excied about the AI that they're gonna be integrating more of, like, what they can do with RTX
Yeah,
voice, if they can integrate even more. And they also we covered a couple of times in the podcast about how they basically restructured the entire cards to make them quicker when it comes to gaming, like, specifically to cut out processes that were redundant
yeah,
to make them faster. So that if it's all true, remember this is all rumors, right?
yeah,
It, and I think we're all going to figure this out like mid-September. So keep an eye on that.
yeah,
GTX 2020 at September 19th to the
yeah, dude.
22nd. That's a weekend too, I believe.
Yeah,
It's a month,
so
less than a month away.
yeah, dude, that is literally right before Orlando. It's against
Yeah.
Orlando,
Yeah,
so
no, actually, I will correct myself there. 19th is a Monday, so it's Monday to Thursday.
okay, yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I guess Tuesday at 11 a.m. the 20th.
Mhm.
That's when the keynote will be. But yeah, very excited stuff. I mean, it's a good point about AI. I think, especially with the touring series, we saw a huge
Yes.
leap in AI and capabilities that like Nvidia's really brought out in terms of like RTX voice and like all the different like background, like eliminating background. It's like webcams, like just all the cool stuff they've done with that. That's only going to get better too, which is crazy to think about.
One yeah.
Um,
Right.
yeah,
It's gonna be amazing, I think. I hope they, the 3D graphics, reinventing 3D graphics, I wanna know what that means.
yeah,
I really
like dude,
like, what does that mean?
they throw around these sentences and it gets you hyped. It's like, dude, what is he
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
yeah, typical marketing play.
yeah,
So,
typical. They
we'll
what
see.
they got to
Well,
do.
I hope, it meets the hype. I really do.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Mark the calendars. Mark the calendars. I want to talk about something else that's like revolutionary. That's honestly game changing. You know,
is
Mike?
that right?
I think it is. This is like insane to me. I saw this and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
did
this
I.
is so crazy. All right. Corsair, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I just like peaked so bad right there. Okay, Corsair.
I did
Corsair.
or you?
No, I did. I like leaned
Oh,
into my
okay.
mic and it was bad. It was bad in my headphones. I heard it. Um, Corsair's new gaming monitor bends into a curved display. That is right. You can physically bend the monitor and make it curved or lay it out flat. You can do that now. This is like mind blowing to me. Um, so Corsair is launching a 40. So this is a 45-inch bendable, by the way, an ultra wide. Um,
It's
and
outrageous.
they show a little bit of it in this video here. I will play a little bit of Bitwit and Paul's Hardware got hands on with this thing, and it's really cool to actually see in
Oh,
person.
I would like
Um,
to see.
yeah, so I will show they link it in this article. So I'm not even gonna read some of the article. I'm literally just gonna like let this video play a little bit, kind of show like them interfacing with it because it
Oh
is
my, yeah, yeah.
rather
Go
interesting.
to the 2 minute and 40 second mark.
This little
Yeah, 2 minute.
two
Actually,
minutes,
two
2 minutes,
2 minute, 2 minute 30.
2 minute. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Mike, this is it.
I got you. I got
So
you, fam.
turn up a little bit. I won't turn the video up super loud, but it's crazy. I mean, you see Bitway literally bend this thing, dude. It's like it looks like he's about to snap it in half. It's wild. Um,
Yeah, basically, they're for people that are only listening. It's a giant monitor. How long is this guy?
it's at 45 inches, I think.
45 horizontally.
I think something like that. Yeah, it's an ultra wide. At least that's what
Well,
the
usually when they do corner to corner, so
yeah. I mean, that's what this says. 45 inches on the initial promo video. So
gosh, this is probably corner to corner. But basically, what they do is they have these handles on both sides, left and right, and underneath,
yeah,
as like pivots. And
yeah. We see
this
Paul
actually
bend it
just
right here. Look at this. He like squeezes it, dude.
240 hertz. My goodness.
Dude, it's wild, man, isn't it?
How do you
Absolutely
feel
crazy.
about curved monitors? Do you have one?
I do not have one. I've seen one in person.
Yeah,
I think it's
Nick
pretty
has one.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen his too. I mean, I think it's certainly pretty cool. I hesitate to buy strictly a curved monitor though. At least me.
Yeah.
Like so, like I mean, this is sick. Like I would buy something like this. It's like you have the option because this is ultimately more options for the consumer.
Yes.
Dude, come on, man. How could you deny it? Looks so good. Um, it is by Corsair though, which is interesting, right? I don't believe Corsair's made monitors in the past. I think it's a new venture.
No. No. This is
Like,
100% new venture for them. I'm pretty
um,
sure.
yeah, which is I mean, could be bad, could be good, but I mean, at least for what we're seeing on the prototype, I mean, it looks like it works. I'm not seeing any major flaws at least right now. Certainly all the details are in Bitwit's video, so if you want to go check out his video on it, he explains everything. At least because he did mention it is a prototype that they received, so you know, always going to be some kinks and stuff, but I mean, it looks like it looks really nice. Not gonna lie, it's good.
Yeah, I was never. I don't think I've ever really been a fan of ultra wide monitors or even curved monitors, because
Yeah,
which is kind of silly because I my personal setup, it's like I have a monitor here directly in front of me that I think is about 28, no, 27 inch. No, it might be bigger. I don't know. But I basically had my biggest monitor in front of me, and one to the right a little bit smaller, and the one to the left. It's essentially all a curved setup. It's
Yeah.
like a pilot desk or whatever it's called, or cockpit is what people call it. But this guy is outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude,
like,
it's a
I'm
big
gonna
monitor.
I'm gonna read this paragraph. It's the one highlighted. In terms of other specs, Corsair's monitor
Yeah.
is a 45-inch 21 by 9 ultra wide panel with a refresh rate of 240 hertz and a peak brightness of 1000 nits. I don't know what the 1000 nits means, but from the quality of the video that's playing or that was shown on YouTube from uh, who'd you say these guys were? I've watched their content
Bitwit.
all the time. Bitwit,
Bitwit,
yeah,
Pulse
Bitwit.
Hardware. Those are the two.
Yeah, Paul's Hardware, I definitely recognize. Bitwit. He's
Yeah.
actually looking skinnier, I think.
Yeah, Bitwit's
Looking
name's Kyle
healthy.
too. That's another thing I
Oh,
that's why I
shout out
always
to the
remember him.
Kyles.
The Kyle's baby.
Yeah, but the quality looks fantastic. And
Yeah.
240
They
hertz, bendable, dude, that's insane.
yeah.
It's crazy.
I also talked to, I don't
It
know. I don't know if you know this. So it says the maximum curvature is 800R. Is that like radians? What are they talking?
that's got to be radians, right?
I mean, that's the only R I know in measurements of distance.
Yeah, let's see. What is 800 radians? Let's find out for the people.
I don't know what the R would be.
No, it is not radians. No shot it's radians. Because a radian would be I'm not even gonna tell you. That's way too many degrees. Let's see. Radius? Radius, probably.
Radius? Maybe. I don't know.
Radial? I think it's radius because if it's radius, well, it's hard to tell, isn't
I
it?
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could pick any curvature that suits you, according to this. So it just goes up to 800, whatever. It's like it's hard to like understand that measurement. Like it's hard to understand that metric of like what they're talking about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm not too familiar with that. Well, I haven't been in a geometry class in a very long time,
same
over
dude.
10 years. But one of the things that is absolutely worth mentioning is like it does have NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD's FreeSync Premium, and it does variable refresh rate, which is awesome,
Yeah.
by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
What does it say? There are a bevy of both front and back connectors,
Yeah.
including HDMI, of course. That's good. I wonder which HDMI it does not specify.
That's
I'm
actually true.
hoping
Yeah. It's gotta be
it
2
does
point. I
not
feel like
specify.
2.1 is the standard, right? Like if you're gonna do this, you might as well put 2.1 in.
Well, that's very true. But if
Or
you
there's
throw in
3.0, right? I think it's what they. I think they've gone up to
uh,
3, if I'm not mistaken.
Not I don't think they've gone there yet. I think HDMI 2.1
Or it's
is
like
the
maybe in
newest
beta
one.
or something. I don't know.
That's HDMI 2.1 can handle 60 hertz or 60 frames per second at 4K resolution, I think, or 1080p 120. Um, I don't think there's an HDMI 3.0, but that's worth checking out. There's
Yeah.
also DisplayPort, USB-C, which is crucial,
Oh
and
yeah.
USB-A,
Mm.
and a headphone jack.
Oh,
USBs
nice.
on monitors are kind of rare nowadays.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like they're not really got to go above and beyond to find one
Yeah. Yeah.
or
I
get
mean,
a
you really
really old
do.
model.
Yeah. I mean, I know like monitors back in the day that were specific for like console and stuff like that. I think
Oh
they would
yeah,
like at least have one, but yeah, I mean, your standard monitor out the box. I mean, I mean, you're lucky to have DisplayPort and HDMI, and I
Mhm.
mean, you don't even find VGA. I think it's VGA or DVI. I think it's the white, like the white
DVI,
here.
yeah.
It's hard to find that nowadays. But that connection's obsolete. I'm glad I'm glad it's not a thing anymore. Um,
I actually use it on the monitor that I use that I look at.
yeah, see, these two monitors I have, I bought in 2017. They both have, they're 144 hertz, but they both have DVI and DisplayPort. And of course, your boy went DisplayPort, um,
My
but
man,
yeah,
this Acer monitor that I got here with the DVI
mhm.
is from 2010, and it was my
My
gaming
God,
monitor when I was competing in Halo 4.
that is wild, dude.
Yeah, on the Xbox
That's like the
360, I plugged that
age,
sucker
man.
in. Yeah,
Holy,
it
yeah,
cost me $30.
dude, that is, bro, and it still works.
It's
That's
still crushing.
crazy, man.
There's a little bit of a crack, but
I mean, hey, man, the fact that it's still
it's
kicking though after how long, dude? That's crazy.
that's yeah, it's 12 years. Now
That's
that
some
I think of it, I think I need to buy this monitor.
that's some quality, dude. I'm afraid these Asus's I have won't last that long. Like seriously, that's crazy,
A
man.
Acer is like to me So to me, Acer is a Nokia like equivalent. You know, like Nokia cell phones, they don't die.
Yeah.
Like that's what Acer is to me. Or
Dude,
like
yeah.
old school Dell computers, they don't die.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, but yeah, this is crazy though in terms of monitors, man. Like,
Oh, it's
the
gorgeous.
fact that you have a bendable display you can adjust to any
You
rotation.
know, so I'm sure like other people have thought this too. Screens are notoriously like breakable. They like especially your cell phone, right? This is a good example, or
Yeah.
tablet.
Hmm.
Um, they're made of like glass, or they're made of like some type of polymer plastic that's fragile and shatter.
Right.
So it's like, why don't we have all of our panels like this, where it's like easily bendable and we can do whatever we want with them? You know, like including your phone, because there are now
Yeah.
phones that do that,
Yeah.
where they have like foldable phones and they don't
Yeah.
crack.
Yeah, I
It's
saw one
like,
the other day, I think. I was like, dude, that's
yeah,
like crazy to me. Just like opening your phone and there's two screens that make one giant one. Like it's
yeah,
wild to me. Um,
yeah. I have a friend that has one of those, and I gotta tell you, it looks obnoxious
yeah. Yeah.
because it's like it's real thick. It's like a wallet.
Yeah. No, it's
It's
like it's a chunk like and you just like
yeah,
and
it's
he just
like
whips it out, it's thin. It's like, whoa, what the
dog, you got like a brick in your pocket right now. And then you pull it out like a switchblade, like a switchblade. It's like, what the heck? What's happening? Yeah,
Crazy, man.
just get a
Yeah,
flip phone.
I dude, I mean, that's like the latest version of flip phone, I think, you know? It's like the latest
Yeah.
iteration. Um, But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I hope we see more of this. I hope this isn't complete trash and we actually see like
Oh,
more companies take it on because this is going to become, I think, like a necessity in displays if this technology like works as well as it does and it's like long lasting.
yeah. I will say this, like this YouTube video I've been like clicking through every
Mm,
now and then, and the quality looks phenomenal.
yeah,
So, but of course they're gonna give them a demo that's superior, right?
yeah. I mean, they're
Like
going to
it's
make
gotta
sure they
be,
have the best prototype. Like,
yeah. They're not gonna send them trash.
yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
good
it
point
looks good. Yeah. I want to see it in person though.
for sure.
I'm on board with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I hope I run into a Best Buy that has it. I can just like go in and like like just adjust it,
Yeah.
see if it works. Um, and the back looks pretty sturdy too. They were like showing off the back at one point. It's like it's got that nice like it's a
It's
nice like
super sleek.
sturdy
It's very sleek. It's
like
like
bracket
it
there.
obviously looks heavy. It also, oh my god, they just showed Halo 5 or Halo Infinite as a demo game. But like it's low profile stands. It's like pretty
Yeah,
wide. It looks like you can support any configuration you put it in.
it's nice. It's nice too. Those handles that come out, they tuck in and everything too, so you have a nice like
Yeah,
sleek
yeah.
bezel. Nice, dude. They thought of everything. You know?
It looks
Pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah, for sure. You know what also looks really good, Mike?
Oh,
I'm really looking forward to.
is it a controller that we mentioned before in the podcast?
Is it a elite competitor from PlayStation? I think
Is that
yes,
right?
dude.
Let's hit it.
The
Let's go.
the DualSense Edge. Oh baby, this the IGN. We pulled the article from IGN. It says flagship controller wars. But PlayStation they finally entered the realm of the high end pro controllers with the DualSense Edge, which they announced at Gamescom Opening Night Live. The features and design of the DualSense Edge clearly offer PlayStation players something similar to Xbox Elite controller lineup, particularly the Elite Series 2. I'll play this little video here after this nice little ad, which takes 15 seconds, by the way, to skip. See, this is the beauty of running an incognito, right? And no ad block. I mean, I'll support it, but I had to sit here for 15 seconds. So
This this filler content, right?
complete filler content. Anyway, I did actually see this though the other day. It's I mean, dude, it's a nice little kind of first look. And one thing you'll notice right off the bat, Mike, and we'll wait till it happens. First short thing here. I mean, dude, look at the front. First of all, the front looking like a nice dual sense, looking good. Um,
Yeah.
looking real good. But the best part is when they slip out the oh, look at the thumbsticks, dude. Replaceable thumbsticks. Oh baby.
The Elite controller ain't doing that. They
It
ain't
ain't
doing
doing
that.
that. Ain't no one else in the game doing that except for Thrustmaster, baby. The only other controller in the game, baby.
Actually, kinda, yeah. Kinda, yeah. You can do that sort of with the Scuff and Battle Beaver, but you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not
like
like
easy to do. Yeah.
yeah. So So wait a second. When we first covered this controller, they mentioned that there were more back buttons. Is that what we're seeing? Oh my
This
gosh.
we're only seeing 2 back buttons,
Oh
Mike.
my
Only
gosh.
2. Look at this, like,
That's
back button here. It's like a weird, like, paddle almost. You have to, like, pull it. It does have trigger
that's
stops. Like, it's
that
like
is very much in line with the DualSense back button attachment. So
mm,
I'm going to show this for the people that are watching. Um, let's see if I can pull it out real quick. So for those of you that are listening, I'll try to do the best I can to describe. But basically, I'm holding two different controllers over here, and let me make sure I can actually see myself so I know what the heck I'm showing.
let me put you up on the big
This
screen.
is
There we go.
this is a PS4 DualSense controller,
Yes.
traditional, old school, and this is the attachment. So I'll unplug it real quick. This is what it normally looks
Yeah.
like. This is the attachment. So when you plug the attachment in to the bottom of the PS4 controller, it actually has bottom pads like that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
nice.
there's only two, which is in pretty much the same placement as this. What are they calling it?
Showed. I don't know what
DualSense
yeah,
Edge.
DualSense Edge.
Edge is what they're calling it, which is very kind of a good name. Um,
Yeah.
and then here is the basic PS5 controller.
Yeah. Nice dual
So what they've
DualSense.
essentially done is they've added two controllers or two buttons on the back, right on the other
Yeah.
side of the joysticks, and then they added two beneath the joysticks. So you
Yeah.
essentially have four.
Yeah, and see, I don't know. I'm assuming that maybe those may be 4 buttons. I don't know, because I don't know if that's like a button to actually remove the thumbstick, and like that was the easiest way they could have done that, is just to
Yeah,
kind of have it stick on the outside. I did also
it's
have another
labeled
article.
though. It's labeled though. If you go to the screenshots, it looks labeled.
Yeah, it looks like
So when you
function, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so FN it says on the
yes, I
thing
think
there.
that is an extra button. So
Might be,
essentially,
yeah.
for let me try to do my best to describe this to the people that are listening. You have your left and right joystick on a traditional PlayStation controller, and then directly underneath it, where you have your auxiliary port or any other type of like functionality that connects directly to the controller on the bottom, not the top, because the top is where the USB is and the triggers. But on the
Yep.
bottom, they have two extra buttons that are one's directly underneath each joystick.
Yeah.
So I was expecting four buttons on the back, similar to Thrustmaster. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that might be a patent issue
Mm, I see.
because the paddles, the reason why the Xbox Elite controller, and this is what I've heard, I don't know for a fact, I haven't fact checked this, but the reason why the Elite controller uses paddles is because Battle Beaver owns the copyright to the buttons and where they're
Hmm.
placed. So the buttons on the Battle Beaver are
Yeah.
actually like on the palm of where you grip the controller.
Right,
Whereas
yeah.
Thrustmaster, I think they have the patent directly on the flat bit of the controller.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's not the grip. Where the
Yeah.
placement is matters, and you can justify that in the patent. But it doesn't make any sense why PlayStation would put them where they are. I get the two on the back, right? That makes sense. You can grab
Right, yeah.
those. There's a whole reason to have buttons on the bottom is so that you never have to lift up your thumbs from the joystick.
Yeah.
That's the entire purpose. So where they're putting the buttons on the joystick on the bottom half, it's like you gotta physically let off your thumb off the joystick in order to press it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly looks interesting. I did want to pull up. I saw a nice little chart that IGN made in another article comparing the DualSense Edge with the Xbox Elite Series 2, the DualSense, and then the Xbox Wireless Gen 3. And I'm assuming they pulled some of this info from what was actually revealed. Of course, price and release date not determined yet for the DualSense. The DualSense Edge will allow custom profiles. Has an internal battery. It does have wireless and USB-C. Bluetooth was likely but not announced. And it says here there's 2 back buttons. I mean, I don't know if they pulled that from maybe information they found at Gamescom. It says there's only 2 according to this. It does, of course, have adjustable and adaptive triggers. Interchangeable parts, yes, and then custom button mapping as well. Of course, weight's undetermined. But it's a nice little chart comparing the the pro controllers with the regular standard controllers that come with the console. Kind of see. But yeah, very very interesting stuff. I think I'll be interested to see how those back buttons actually work, how they feel on the DualSense Edge, because they almost look like, I mean, it looks like almost a giant, like not giant, but like a flap is like sticking up, and you just like pull the button back. But
I think
very
it's gonna be. I think it'll be perfect for my hands.
yeah,
Um, just from my experience with the PS4 with the back button attachment, it's like perfectly placed. It's seamless for me. It falls like right on my fingers of how I play the game and like what I want to do with the controller. And with what I'm seeing from the graphics and the images of this DualSense Edge, I mean, I this might be my next controller to be honest. Regardless of how I feel about the buttons underneath the joystick, PlayStation makes some of the best controllers like I've ever
it's
used.
true. And they have the nice
Just
responsive sticks, dude.
dude, they're phenomenal. It's so smooth. It feels so fluid.
Yeah,
And they have multiple settings for trigger stops.
yeah,
So
oh yeah.
that's like really cool too.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I mean, the biggest selling point in this is you can switch out the joysticks, because that is the first thing that
Dude,
fails and some of the only things that fail in these controllers.
it's been like that since N64 days.
For
Since
real,
they
since
added in a joystick.
since the dawn of time, some may say, you
Yeah.
know.
Since fighting games, like, the arcade games, the joysticks would always break first.
Yeah, dude, it has been
So,
an age-old problem, and this is what we're seeing right here is technology adapt to a problem that's not
finally.
solved yet, right? Like no one solved the joystick problem. So what do we do? I mean, hey, just replace them. Like just give people an option to just fix it themselves and not have to fork out money for a new controller. And also,
Facts.
Sony doesn't have to deal with the warranty claims. I mean, do you
Oh
know,
my
dude, that has got to
gosh.
be a nightmare at Microsoft for these Elite Series
Oh,
2 claims. Like, that has to be crazy. You know how many controllers are having to replace a year? Like, it's unreal.
all of them?
Dude,
All of
literally.
them?
Like,
Yeah.
bro, those things are prone to breaking. And like, as much as I hate to say it, it's like, it's a good thing Microsoft has that warranty, but it's also got to be a headache for them to have to just replace joysticks and like buttons that break.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I feel bad when I talk to my friends and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get the new Elite controller," and I'm just like, "Dude, it's gonna break. It's gonna break in like 2 months." The same thing happened
Yeah.
with Nick when I was trying to tell him the controller that he should get, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll just get the Elite controller." I'm like, "It's gonna break." He gets the Elite controller and he's like, "It broke." What, like a month later,
Something
and
like
he
that,
sends
man.
it in for a warranty, and then he's like, "Screw it, I'm gonna get the Battle Beaver or whatever." Scuff Instinct Pro
Yeah,
is the
Scuff Instinct.
yeah. Yeah, you got the Scuff Instinct, that broke in 2 months, at least it lasted longer, and then he's
Yeah.
like, "I gotta send it for a warranty."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you guys just need to get yourself a Thrustmaster or apparently this
Yeah.
controller,
Oh, this
so you
one,
can
yeah.
just swap out the joysticks or the
I mean,
buttons or whatever you gotta do."
the biggest thing, I just to promote Thrustmaster a little bit, I think the biggest thing in news is they released a smaller version because that was the biggest complaint,
Yes.
right? Is that how
Yeah,
big that controller
absolutely.
is?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's a big problem for some people. It's like, especially for, like, younger gamers, if you don't have the proper hands, you can't, like, enjoy it. It
yeah,
doesn't feel as good in your hands.
right.
Or if you're just, like, a smaller human, which happens, it's like, it is what it is. That
Yeah.
sounded weird the way I said it, my bad. But the new controller actually looks, like, pretty good.
Yeah.
I kinda wanna check it out. I got a buddy of mine who pretty much, like, collects the controllers, and I bet you he has one. I might ask him,
Yeah. Should, man. I think it'd be
get some
cool.
feedback. Yeah.
Dope, man. Yeah, looking forward to the DualSense Edge. Looking forward to the price and the launch date when this thing's coming out. The price I'm most curious about. I want to see how competitive they get against an Elite, Elite Series 2.
What do you think?
If
More
it's
or less?
um, let's see. Okay, actually, I have this chart. I have a chart here. Let's
Yes, you
see.
do.
Um,
How
so
much is the
the
DualSense?
so the DualSense controller is $70. The Xbox Wireless Gen 3 is 60. So it's a little bit higher. Like Sony pads are always a little bit higher. So there's potential it could be possibly $200. I mean, especially, with the ability for like swappable joysticks and stuff. I mean, I think that's possibility is certainly there to have a $200 controller. Do I think it's gonna be like 150? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna undercut Xbox. I mean, I'd be surprised. I mean, I think it'd be cool. I mean, it'd be great from a consumer standpoint of like, hey, but it's like also you also have to think, Mike. We just reported that they're raising prices globally for PlayStation 5s. You know what I
you're
mean?
absolutely
Like,
right. Yeah, so
I
we're
mean,
looking at $200 controller.
yeah, like how concerned are they with price at the moment? Like, and trying to be competitive because, yeah, it's not happening right now. So
You know how much the Thrustmaster is?
how much?
Like 160.
Oh, dude,
It's less than both.
that's. I mean,
And the newer one, the smaller version, I think is like 140, 150.
why are you getting
So
DualSense Edge, dude? I'm
I
sorry, Sony.
I gotta be real though. I gotta be real. I gotta be honest. PlayStation, using PlayStation controllers, playing Rocket League, that's a different animal.
None hits better, huh?
Oh, nothing hits better.
Oh
Nothing.
man, it's crazy.
Shooter, go with Thrustmaster.
Um,
Shooter racing games go with Thrustmaster. Everything else, PlayStation.
yeah, I remember I saw a video like I think it was a couple months ago, but it was a video comparing all the like current gamepads and like
Yeah.
he went full science on it and like did like
Oh yeah.
analysis of like the response times, the stick movements, and all that. And it's like Sony was they were just winning, dude. Like
It won everything.
like literally.
I watched. I think you and I watched the same video. He did everything but the Thrustmaster.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that
I
was, like,
was
the one
like,
thing he, like, left out, it's like, "Come on, man."
"Come on, man."
Yeah,
But
bro.
to be fair, they're not really in the market for gamepads.
Yeah, they're not, like,
So
super mainstream, so
yeah.
hopefully they get there, though, because that's a nice pad. Um, uh, yeah. So, we're already pretty far in the episode. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna touch on this article too much. I just wanna say that DICE, they haven't given up on Battlefield 2042. It's still not giving up, ladies and gentlemen. They announced season 2. They're doing the next season, man. Just a gameplay trailer for it. Not gonna get too detailed with it. I think it's just I think it's cool to see. It's interesting to see that Dice they truly have not given up after people thought they really did. They're going for season 2, Mike. They're trying to bring the player base back. They're trying to recover, dude. I have to commend them.
I okay. Let me ask then. Do you think they can recover?
I don't know when's the next Battlefield coming out. That's the real question. Are they trying to launch something this year, next year? Like I don't
I
know.
think another year or two, but I'm talking about like this game in particular.
I mean, look, I'm gonna say 3 words. All right,
Oh,
No Man's Sky. It's possible. I'm not completely writing it out, It's possible. Um,
that's
that
fair.
was the biggest recovery in a game in recent history. Was No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think there's been anything quite like No Man's Sky,
I mean, Fallout
like in the
76
history of gaming.
a little bit Fallout 76. It certainly wasn't as bad as it
No,
was at launch. But even
no.
even I tried to get back into it and I got bored. I'm gonna be real. And I love Fallout. And I got bored.
The
So
one thing I will say about like Fallout 76 and the reason why I can't give it that credit is I know people and even me, I still have biases. Like I still view that game as unfinished and broken because of how legendary of a flop it was.
yeah.
How
Yeah,
bad
it's
everything happened.
dude, I mean, it goes back to first impressions, right? Like if you
Yeah,
really mess up the first impression that bad, there's a lot of
yeah,
people that just won't even give it a chance.
exactly. They'll
Um,
just never come back ever.
yeah.
Like they might just abandon the franchise entirely.
It's true,
Uh,
and we're
I
we're certainly seeing that with this game. I think like at least to a
you
certain
think so?
extent, like at least to a certain
Battlefield?
extent. It's not going to be Fallout extent, I don't think, but I mean at least a little bit. I mean, just dude, like you mess up if you mess up a launch, there's going to be a lot of people that turn and don't look back, and that's the nature of humans, right? First impressions are very important to a lot of people. Um,
I would argue with a franchise as legendary as like Battlefield or even as legendary as Halo, which I'm very fluent and understand that franchise well. If your predecessors, if your if like what made you a franchise was so successful to the point that it was like legendary in the aspect of like gaming, stuff that releases afterward can kind of be forgiven. Whereas if it's like the second iteration of it, like let's say I'll use the Halo example. Halo 2 and Halo 3 were so phenomenal that people forgave the launch of Halo MCC and 5 and Halo Infinite. They still came back,
yeah,
which
I mean,
is
yeah,
crazy, okay? It's insane. If
nothing
you took,
like
like,
it.
the last 3 games, it was bad. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Um, but if you imagine, like, let's say Battlefield 3, if that game was trash,
Mhm.
horrible, launched the same day as 2042, would people ever come back? I don't think so. I I
You know?
hate. You think they're really gonna be all right off the first couple of games of Battlefield? You
I
know?
don't know. I don't think it has that power, but you know.
No, I don't.
Um,
I think Battlefield 2042 can make a comeback. I'm excited to see.
yeah, maybe. I mean, it also begs the other question too of like, is it time to hang up the IP? Is it time? Do you think it's ever time to hang up an IP like Battlefield or COD for that matter? That's a really hot take, the COD one, but but like, I mean, Battlefield. There's not even a competitive scene. I mean, at least COD has a competitive scene, right? That's I mean, it's franchising and everything, but it's a competitive scene. Like, it's still there. Um, I mean, they're taking a
Mhm.
year off. I mean, they're not coming out with a COD game in 2023. So, um, I mean, I don't know. Maybe not necessarily kill the franchise, but maybe just take a year or two off. Try and like do something different. And then like take a year or two off. And if you still want to make it, then you'll know like, okay, maybe it's not time to give it up. But like if you give it a year or two and you're like, yeah, I think we should just like continue this indefinitely and just, maybe 10 years down the line and bring it back.
Yeah, I think that is a hot take. I think there are some IPs that definitely should just be killed off. Um, Trying to think of like what they could possibly be right off the bat. I I don't think Battlefield is at that point yet,
Yeah,
or Call
that's
of
fair.
Duty. I think both of them. The reason why they're so unique is because there's always going to be war in human civilization.
Yeah, there's
You know
there's
what I mean?
always a sense of relevancy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. There's always relevancy.
Yeah.
I think with a game like Halo, the franchise of Halo, I think Fallout and what's the other legendary game? Portal. I think those can all die out.
Yeah.
I think those can be killed because those are like sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, there's no real it's I mean, it's such a good point. I mean, like if you're talking about something like war, like military or something like that is it's very much something
That's
that like it can reach a wide audience because of the actual source material, right?
yeah,
Like you
exactly.
you
That's what I mean.
can't. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's harder to do that with a game like Halo or a game like Portal or something like that. It's a very very interesting concept. But see, that also says I'm very happy that Portal stuck with 1 and 2 and then just said like we're good. Like that is
Exactly.
bro
Yeah.
that legendary
That's
dude. Like dude,
hardcore.
legendary. Half Life,
Oh,
legendary dude. They brought Alex. Like yeah, that's fine. Half Life Alex is cool, but like
yeah.
I mean, they may bring 3 one day, but it's like they don't need to. Like they just did those legendary games and that was it. They hung it up. And like if you do that, like the people are gonna. There's a lot of people that are gonna just respect you a lot more when you just say like, all right, we told the story, we're out, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think this goes back to a concept that we've had a couple of times, right? With how we view video games as more of like an art form.
Yeah.
And we can like attribute that to movies.
Hmm.
So like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, or even Star Wars, or like the heavy IPs. It's
Yeah.
like, man, sometimes if you do it right, well, maybe Star Wars is kind of a little bit buggy, but Lord of the Rings was good. It's like when you do Lord of the Rings, the first those three movies, that originally trilogy,
Yeah.
like don't remake it.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Just like that's an art form where it doesn't need to be retold.
Yeah. It
Just
doesn't.
leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
I
It's dead
mean,
now.
yeah. I
You
mean,
do spin-offs, but
yeah,
don't
that's fine.
don't drag it
That's
out. You know what I
fine.
mean?
Yeah.
Like don't come in here and rehash the same crap.
I mean, dude. I mean, we won't get into it, but Star Wars. I mean, I've talked to so many people that are just like, why did they do the new stuff? Like, they should have just like left it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Solo, like the Star Wars stories and all that. Like, that's
Yeah,
interesting. The side stories, the material that wasn't covered, and people want more answers to. That's fine. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
continuing on the main story, like, I don't know, man. It was so legendary. Like, you just 1 through 6, bam, done. That's like there's something special about that. So when you try and sit there and keep digging at the IP, it's like it's not, I don't know,
It,
it's just not worth it.
I think what we're fundamentally getting at right now is there's a way to tell a story to tell the story in an art form, and then there's a way to drag it out and become a cash grab.
Yeah,
Where you're no longer doing it
exactly.
for the art anymore and for the purpose of the story and like adding more value. You're just doing something to get money
That's
or like getting
exactly
some. type of recognition or benefit,
Yeah.
not the art,
Yeah,
I guess is
that's
the best way to
exact I
put
mean,
it.
no. That's exactly it. I think
Yeah.
I think I think too people are starting to see through that, right? They're starting to notice when something's like, this isn't like as genuine as it used to be, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm starting to notice, especially with, like it's kinda terrible for DC, but you know how, like, Marvel versus
Hmm.
DC,
Yeah.
at least in cinematic, like, going to the movies and stuff, they DC just always felt cheap, like, they're always trying to chase down Marvel, and I don't know why that stigma was, maybe it's, like, a biases you have just being in the public, because
Yeah.
that's, like, everybody talks about that, how DC is not good enough. But if you look at, like, DC video games, DC comics, or
Yeah.
cartoons, DC is, like, 1,000 times better than Marvel.
Yeah, there's a lot more material,
So
right?
yeah, it's not just more material, it's like the stories are so much better, they're so much real, they're raw, it's
Yeah.
like maybe that's because of, like, we're all getting older and, like, a little bit more mature, we're not into the, okay, like, no blood, no guts, like, Marvel stuff, and then you get into, like, my dad was murdered, this is my superhero arc, like,
Yeah,
dark, heavy stuff.
exactly.
So, that DC does. Getting a little bit sidetracked here, but
Yeah.
all of this to really say, I think DICE can bring it back.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I got one more story, dude. One more main story. Hot button topic in the Twitch universe this week. Um,
Yeah.
what we originally thought was what we originally thought was like insane, groundbreaking, like Twitch enhancing news, dude. Arguably now may not be so, depending on how you interpret it, I guess. Um, but we pulled this article from Washington Post. Twitch does away with streamer exclusivity policy. It wasn't enforcing. I love this title. There's like
Yeah.
so much honesty in this. Because oh man, um, there's especially since this has come out, there's been a lot of talk of whether or not Twitch actually enforced what they previously had in place. But for those that don't know, Twitch this week, they for all creators, they essentially removed exclusivity, streaming like simulcast exclusivity for mobile platforms like Twitch and Instagram Reels. So if you want to stream on Twitch and also live stream on TikTok or some other service like that on those mobile platforms, you're more than welcome to do that, like simulcasting, simultaneously streaming. Um, However, sites like Facebook and YouTube, you are not allowed to stream at the same time on those platforms, but you are free to stream on Twitch in your stream and then go stream on YouTube or stream on Facebook and like just you can stream on multiple stuff now, right? Like, um you don't have to stay strictly on Twitch for a given time after your stream. And again, I mean, the person that wrote this article, what they were referring to is like it may not have been as enforced as they were trying to play it out as it was, but yeah, there's been a lot of talks about this. A creator that we follow pretty closely, Devin Nash, the co-founder of Novo, which is I guess the streamer the network streamer
Yeah,
agency.
his talent agency is what he
Yeah,
calls it.
yeah,
His business. Yeah.
yeah, his business. He went into detail and kind of burning the letter they sent out to all creators on the platform. This especially disclosing the exclusivity. And he made a whole video on it too. It was pretty interesting. As most of his videos are. But he pretty much said, yeah, I mean, a lot of these rules that they're saying are no longer applicable to streamers were not really enforced in the first place. And what originally people were thinking was, oh, we can now multi-stream to YouTube and Facebook and Twitch simultaneously, and we won't get like anything about that. But that is just far from the truth, unfortunately. That is not the case, at least for what Twitch is allowing at this point. Yeah, I mean, there's the article seems to be pretty extensive. He of course talks about Devin's takes. And it says, I mean, there's a little quote here. It says, you could always stream on Twitch for an hour, stop your stream, and go stream elsewhere. Twitch doesn't own the content you do. They're licensing the content you create on Twitch for 24 hours. You can stop your stream and stream elsewhere. That's always been the case. Nothing has changed. So that's what like Nash was talking about. Devin Nash was talking about. It's like, yeah, I mean, they would always say like, oh, you can't stream for 24 hours on, another platform after you're done streaming on Twitch. But I mean, there's no way they can enforce that, especially the amount of content creators. And I mean, honestly, I mean, I mean, unless you're a partner. I mean, if you restreamed as an affiliate, I mean, it would probably take them a while to actually catch
Oh
you.
yeah,
Like anyway, it's like
yeah.
it's not like it's yeah. I mean, there's certainly no human checks being made about like, oh, is this streamer on other platforms? So could certainly probably get away with some of that now, but um, yeah, I mean, overall, Mike, what did you think about all this? Because I think we were all in the same boat of like, oh, this is great. Twitch exclusivity is done for. We don't have to worry about it. But it's unfortunately not what we thought it was.
So there are a couple of things, right? The exclusivity clause that's signed into a contract only happens for affiliates and partners. So every day, like ordinary streamers that aren't affiliates or partners, they could do multi-streaming whenever they wanted on all platforms
Yeah.
imaginable without anything. But once they sign the affiliate contract that they have, which they kind of pressure you into. Like I've received, like I qualify for it and I
Yeah.
refuse to do it. And they just like send you over and over emails and stuff like that. Like, hey, like check it out, it's in your mailbox. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Like, get in here, do this, whatever. But it's kind of like in the clause it says you can't multi-stream, you can't live stream on any other base. Period. You can't live stream on and anything. Like if you're a human that goes underneath the same brand as the one that you have affiliated on Twitch, and you're a partner or affiliate, uh, that was a bit redundant, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you live stream on any platform that was technically against their contract, right?
Yeah. Right.
So that's definitely an issue. But it, like like Nash is saying, like we're saying, and this article is, they never enforced it because it was nearly impossible.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, there's just no way they can. Like,
yeah, yeah, it pretty much is a clause that only really applies to major partners that have thousands of viewers
right. The
constantly.
only people actually bringing in revenue to Twitch.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
essentially, like true revenue. True
right.
revenue
Yeah.
is the best way to put it. Like the actual bucks where they're paying for the servers. They never want them to go on another platform.
Yeah.
So what they really did was just say like, okay, guys, you can't multi-stream on YouTube or Facebook because they're our direct competitors.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So
I
okay,
guess. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Well,
Um.
the thing I was talking to you and Nick about was it doesn't matter, like Devin Nash is saying, it's like it's just a marketing ploy because who that is a live streamer that's full time is going to stream their typical ordinary schedule Monday through Friday, like 8 to 1, as Nick does, and then stop their stream and go on like YouTube and stream for a couple hours. Like, why would you do that? You're
Yeah.
already working on Twitch. Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's
um,
just no real incentive to, right?
yeah,
So yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of just like it's like it's half. It's kind of cool, but like at the same time, a lot of this stuff is like they couldn't enforce it in the first place. So why are we still like why are we even talking about it? But
yeah.
mm,
I, I found it actually pretty hilarious with Dr. Disrespect. He was doing a multi-stream on Facebook and YouTube to make fun of Twitch, and like he did
yeah,
simultaneously. And then same thing with Ludwig. He's just like it's just a marketing ploy because Twitch is afraid of losing content creators from their platform, and as they should be.
yeah,
Like
they
they
definitely
need
should
to
be.
get it together, and we've been talking about this for over a year. They're
Yeah,
falling off.
heavy man, falling off heavy, losing. They're getting bought out like by big creators getting bought out and going on other platforms. They
Yeah,
man, struggling, dude. It's like
yeah.
it's been that way for years, and who knows at this point if it's even recoverable. Um, so crazy.
See,
Yeah, definitely see for sure. Um, wish there was a better news report on this, but that's all it is, dude. Twitch is being Twitch, man. Although I did see, I mean, there were, I mean, we're not gonna like cover it in an article, but there were some I did see some updates today from like Twitch. They did their patch notes stream today, and I know we
oh
talked
yeah,
about it in group
they've added
DMs. I
more
mean,
features. Yeah,
they're adding cool chat features and actual like enhancements that are like, all right, yeah. I mean, that's cool for the chat aspect. I mean, it's not like not platform changing, but it's because some nice to haves really. Um, so there's some little things coming, I guess, on the bright side. Yeah. Um, that was all the articles I had. I wanted to talk a little bit. We're already running over a little bit, but I did want to talk a little
Stop.
bit about
Yeah.
I want to talk some about the about Saints Row. So I played some of that.
Yeah. Okay. Are the rumors true?
Um, the rumor. Okay, so from my experience, let me pull up my gameplay. I will actually see if I can switch the source for you, so you can watch. We do this. Uh, duh, duh, duh. Let's do this. Um,
Wow, it looks good.
yeah. So,
Move you to the
think I
big
won't get
monitor.
through. So I mean, okay. First of all, like before I show, like there's maybe opening spoilers. There's nothing like crazy that was spoiled or anything, at least that I saw. But just keep that in mind before I show gameplay. Um, Overall, I think at least from what I saw, I mean it's a game I definitely want to like still play and finish. Which is good news there. There were bugs that I ran into initially that I saw other people report of like just some visual stuff. Nothing. I haven't run into anything game breaking yet, so good news there. I mean that
It's good.
I played through the first 2 or 3 missions. Nothing game breaking. Me and my buddy are playing on the hardest difficulty. From what I can see now, I mean there have been situations where we died like multiple times trying to get through a mission, but we haven't run into anything that's like, oh wait, this is way too hard, like, and this is gonna take hours to beat. At least not yet. So, um, it was combat pretty interesting. I think keyboard and mouse shooting, it's okay. It's not. I've definitely played a lot better shooters on keyboard and mouse. Um, there's no hit markers too, which is really odd. So like when you're shooting someone, you like just had to pay attention to their health bar and see if maybe
Yeah.
like you're hitting them.
Old
Which
school.
and I was yeah, it's very old school. It's really funny when you die though, because like your body just completely ragdolls and you just flop on the ground, and so it's like you're actually dead. So see, like we both of us just died right there. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Um, the voice acting, oh man, like the voice acting. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Um, but like
Bad.
there's some there's some cutscenes where it's like it sounds like kind of phoned in. There's no like real emotion behind it, and it's kind of just like he's just reading lines. That was rather unfortunate. There are other scenes though, especially when you're hanging out. It's kind of in like one of the beginning like opening stuff. The main opening scene when you're with like your crew. I love the dialogue in this. I thought the dialogue went smooth. It played very well. And like my buddy and I were laughing because like there were like funny little jokes and stuff in it. I enjoyed this, but like scenes of intense, like there's something intense going on. There's like no like I
Yeah.
was joking around with my friend. I was acting out the lines like afterwards. I was like, all right, listen out. I'm gonna do this way better in like 10 seconds. You ready? And I would literally like do it better. Which is bad. I feel like I feel like you're playing the game and I feel like I could do a better job. It's not good. Um, but yeah, I overall I think there's definitely some humor here. There's definitely I think enough to kind of keep me going, at least from the first impression that I got. Combat, I do wish combat was better, but it's not bad to the point where I don't feel like I can play it. So I think overall my experience so far been mid to good. I'll say that it's kind of like average to like enjoyable. So I'm definitely excited to get back in and play more of those. So it's definitely doing something right if I'm trying to stick with it. Um, Driving, dude, there is some driving. The driving, I think overall the driving's pretty good. I had no issues with the driving. There's some weird kind of mechanics that feel a little stiff. Like there's one mechanic where you can like sideswipe cars. That's very much like it looks kind of funny, like the animation when you're actually like trying to sideswipe, because it's like it is a direct like you're jerking the wheel and all that. So I mean, it was one funny bug we ran into when we're getting out of a mission and we're going to like my friend and I, like he got his own car and I was in one car, and like we were going to leave the mission, he rear-ended me and the mission instantly failed, and it said like your car was like too damaged to continue, and I was very confused. I was like, you just like rear-ended me, like I don't understand why. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like going through this chase scene. My car like flips, nearly blows up. I'm on fire, and it's not damaged enough, and I can still continue the mission. Like, see this right here? I'm like, this was right after you rear-ended me. I'm like, I can still go. Like, this isn't too much damage apparently. So that was definitely one bug we ran into that was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, most of the bugs we ran into, it's visual. It's funny. We laugh it off. It's kind of just like, yo, that was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, I think we've enjoyed it so far, and I'm definitely gonna continue playing. So, um, yeah, my experience has been it's been interesting, and I'm excited to get back in. So, um, we'll see. I'll be curious to see how the story plays out overall. I think I'm liking the characters,
That's
for
good.
the most part. So, very cool to see. I'm on fire. See, there's my body.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you just ragdolled and went like 100 feet
This
up
is
in the
this
air.
was so troll too. So I'm down, right? And my buddy has to get me. This cop car runs me over. He can't even res
Oh
me.
my
They
gosh.
literally griefed me. I couldn't get res because they just ran me over.
Yeah, and you
I don't
have a
know what's
countdown of like 20
like
seconds, I think.
yeah, like my buddy couldn't even get me.
And then you
Like,
mission failed.
yeah, see my that's my boy. He's trying to run and get me. And he's like, dude, I can't get you, bro. And they're shooting me. And so then like we both
And then he
died.
dies.
And so it's just like dude, we literally got griefed by the AI, which was hilarious. But see, it's stuff like that. Like we run into stuff like that. Like I think that's so funny, and like I'm just like laughing the whole time. It's like not a mood killer for me. So, um, yeah. Anyways, that was the first couple of missions. Overall, a game that I will continue playing. Dialogue in some areas bad, some areas okay, which works for me. Shooting is okay. It's nothing. It's not like it's I always equate like especially a third person shooter like this. I wish it was like GTA because I feel like GTA shooting is really good for third person.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like yeah, this is nowhere near that. But it's not the worst I've ever played. So that's I guess that's got that going for it. Mm.
Yeah, it looks really good. I'm interested to see how it develops for you,
Yeah,
and hopefully we can keep touching on this
yeah,
as you continue playing.
yeah,
It's like obviously it's a new game, it's gonna be buggy. We get that. I wish we didn't get that, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's I like that you're having fun because I know initially when you mentioned it to me, you were very concerned. You were
yeah.
saying like you were reading stuff, you're like the game breaking bugs that
Yeah, like
made it unplayable and you're not gonna have fun. Like,
yeah, like that was yeah, like that's what they mentioned a lot. And it's like you go in. So like when I read that, I'm definitely going into this with a grain of salt, right? Like I'm not gonna expect the best thing
oh
ever.
yeah.
But it wasn't the worst thing ever. So it was expectations were low, but it exceeded those low expectations at least for now. So um yeah, looking forward to playing more of it.
Cool.
And yeah, I didn't mention it at the start of the stream, but yeah, I played this. This was one of the games I played this week. So
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You didn't
yeah,
even talk about
yeah,
it.
but, saving it for the end. This was so this okay. Hold on, this was another bug I have to mention.
All right. Describe it to the people that are
So
only listening.
I'm about to continue this mission that we're on. So my buddy blows up. You see him flying in the air. He flies like 50 feet into the actual mission zone. I go into the area. It locks me onto the person I have to talk to, and there's no way out of it. So to continue the mission, I have to talk to this guy, but I have to get my friend that's down. And if I don't get him down, he's dead. I think we fail.
No.
Like, so if I don't get him up, like we fail the mission. So it's like I can't get out of this. It has me locked on to the actual person I'm supposed to talk to, and I can't get out of it. Like if I move far enough, I'm still locked in. So yeah, we ended up like failing because I literally couldn't get him up, and and we had to like
All right.
it just got locked in the mission, which that was that's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, it's like I'm just like screaming and we're just laughing because I'm like, I can't get out, I can't get out. And then
Yeah, that
and then we go back in, we completely don't see the cutscene and we're immediately fighting. So it's like we completely
oh,
just
you didn't
like
even see
yeah,
like so
like
you had to skip a cutscene because of it because it oh my
yeah.
gosh.
It's
Yeah,
like I
that would
didn't even
I
see
would
what
write a bad
happened. So
article
no,
about that.
yeah, like no story progression there. That was interesting. But yeah, that was the worst probably bug we ran into in our playthrough so far. So
Yeah, that's
um,
impacting the story. You just like you lose context.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, rather unfortunate,
You guys are getting bots, by the
dude.
way. Like
We're
all
playing on
these
the
clips
we're
are you
dude.
guys getting destroyed.
We're playing. You know what the hardest difficulty is? Is boss difficulty. It's the name of it,
Is that
dude. And,
bot?
and this game is our boss, dude. Like we're getting annihilated. So it's,
Yeah,
it's
this
yeah, you can't mess around on this difficulty. But oddly enough, it's not too challenging though. Like we haven't been stuck for long periods of time yet. So we'll see if we get to that point at any stop in the game. But
Oh my
It's
god, they look
yeah,
like bullet sponges too. You're like shooting
yeah,
shirtless guys and they're just tanking.
yeah. I mean, you see, like, it's like when I'm actually shooting though, you see, it's like it's it's very much like there's a lot of like bloom and stuff, so you don't know where you're shooting. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm just like kind of hovering over them, like, oh, hopefully this hits with my wide cursor, like, or my wide like hit,
Are you
wide thing.
spraying it?
Yeah, I'm just like spraying. I'm not like tapping it or anything.
Okay.
So I'm just like whatever. I'll just hold left click and hope for the best. Um, yeah. Nevertheless, though, enjoying it. So I will be reporting as I play and let you know the updates.
Yeah, definitely do that. I'm interested. This does look like fun, but again, probably needs an update to
Yeah,
get the patches up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, most reviews I've seen so far, it's kind of like 6 months to a year, check back in, and a lot of the initial stuff will be sorted
Yeah.
out. But,
I wish
yeah,
it wasn't like that though. Especially with Saints Row. This has
yeah,
been a long time coming.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a reboot of the series, right? If you do a reboot, you want to do it right. So
You can't miss. You
yeah, you
can't
can't
miss. But
miss.
it looks will say, man, like from somebody that's just spectating right now, it's
Yeah,
like the graphics look really good, the destruction. I mean, you're riding an like a motorcycle
yeah,
through what
really
Arizona
cool.
cliffs in the
Yeah,
desert, like
look at the
soaring around.
yeah, the
This is
motorcycle, very, very fun to drive.
holy
It
crap!
was so much fun. And see,
You
what I love
just jumped
about
over a water tower.
what I love about Saints Row is I'm bashing cactuses and trees, and I'm just running through it like I have a Tonka truck. Like I'm like, there's no like nothing stopping me. I'm not flying off the bike. That's what I love about Saints Row. Is you could literally just like drive around.
Tank.
Nothing's an issue. Like in GTA, dude, I'm dead like 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
Like
easily.
um, yeah, for sure. Well, again,
Oh,
I mean, like I said, there's a
did
lot
you
of
make your character look the way it looks?
yeah, and like yellow
Yeah,
and
of course you
purple.
made it look like you.
Dude, I love it. It's just bright yellow. Yeah. There's
Mr.
there's
Kyle Heath.
yeah, dude.
Saints Row.
There's voice actors in the game. There's 8 different voices to choose from, a wide variety. Four
Oh, that's pretty
female, 4 male. I think there's a British voice. There's 2 like country voices, like little hicks. So if you want to get like something like that, I thought that was funny.
nice.
But yeah, there's a lot to choose from there. Customization is wide. I will say that. But see, I mean, it's little things like this that like, as long as there's good and fun moments like this, like I'm gonna stay playing. So, yeah, they didn't completely drop the ball, I guess, but definitely, as always, more to be desired and more that should be in place. But what are you gonna do, man? This today's gaming climate, Mike. That's what we got.
Yeah, it's facts. It looks good, man. It looks really good. I'm excited for you to continue on this game because I know this is a franchise that you were very excited for. Not nearly as excited for Dead Island, which we are gonna like cover in next week's episode.
Yep.
So,
Next week.
yep. So
Next
definitely tune in for
week.
that for Gamescom recap is what we should call this special. It should be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It's the thing. It's a nice little pivot from what we normally do. So it'll be
Yeah,
something a
yeah.
little different, but not like completely just out of this world or out of this like topic space.
Yeah, I think we need just like a little bit of variety. And it's been a while since we had a proper guest on, so I
Yeah.
think it's about time we do something specific on an event.
Yeah. For sure. You know, speaking of guests, I have a guest
Yeah.
lined up. I don't know if we've talked about
Oh,
it. I'm not going to mention it, but
okay.
it's going to be it's something that I'm definitely going to start getting the ball rolling on. So just keep in
Okay.
mind that we're probably going to have the first guest coming up that we've had in a while. So
It's been almost 2 months now or more.
yeah,
Probably. It might be
so
longer than that.
May or June,
Jesus.
right? It's been a
Yeah,
while, man.
jeez.
Oh,
We're about to hit September.
we need a guest, dude. We need a
Yeah.
guest. So
Speaking of that, okay, so at the time of the recording, it's August 25th. Next episode is September 2nd, and we're going to record on the 1st. So, what we will do at the start of every single episode of the month, we do a quick little recap of the games that are going to be launching or releasing for that month. So, definitely tune in as well if you made this far into the video or podcast episode. So, yeah,
yeah, for sure, man. All right, we've overstayed our welcome, Mike. To be honest,
I
we
think
are
I
over.
think so.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we
it's
had a
about
bit of a
time.
day.
Yeah, we did.
Bit of a day.
Oh yeah.
So let's just do a quick little send off. If anybody wants to tune in, uh, like give us a little bit of feedback
Just
or
mess you
tell,
up.
yeah, Sorry.
Hold on. Okay, you're good. I messed up the
Oh,
cams entirely. Oh man, it's
are
been
we
a
back?
long episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're back.
All
Oh
right.
man.
So
Oh
what
man.
I was saying was, if anybody has any feedback or wants to get a part of the discussion, all the links are down in the description, including all the articles that we previously covered, any more information, how to contact us on social media, and that's pretty much it. It's like this has been your weekend review on the M2 podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony, my co-host right here, Mr. J.K. Heath, Kyle Heath. And without further ado, like we appreciate you stopping in,
Thanks for listening,
and
everyone.
we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace out.